For years, the names Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson have been tangled up in the dark and sprawling web of Jeffrey Epstein. It's a connection that has shattered reputations, cost millions, and left a deep stain on the British monarchy. But just when it seemed the story couldn't get any worse, new fears are bubbling to the surface. If you thought the saga was just about paying off accusers and losing titles, what's unfolding now suggests a far more dangerous chapter may have begun. There are growing whispers that the Duke and Duchess of York are no longer just embarrassing footnotes in the Epstein files, but could become targets themselves. This is the story of why the past is relentlessly catching up with Andrew and Fergie, how decades of secrets are fueling new threats, and why the Epstein scandal is anything but over for the royal family. The story of the royals and Epstein is a ghost that has haunted the House of Windsor for over 2 decades. So why does it feel more intense than ever? A big part of the answer lies in the steady drip of information that keeps feeding the fire, most notably the unsealing of a huge cache of court documents in early 2024. These files painted an ever more detailed picture of Epstein's network, and, for Prince Andrew, they were nothing short of catastrophic. While his name has long been tied to the scandal, the documents dragged old allegations back into the harsh light of day and gave them a fresh, disturbing context. These weren't just vague mentions. The documents contain specific witness statements that have reinvigorated public and media scrutiny. For instance, Johanna S. Joberg's deposition, where she claimed Andrew groped her at Epstein's New York apartment in 2001, was laid bare for all to see. And, of course, the central accusation from Virginia Giuffre, that she was trafficked by Epstein and forced to have sex with the prince when she was just 17, remains the anchor of the whole scandal. Andrew has always vehemently denied these claims, but the constant reappearance of his name in official court documents makes it an impossible shadow to outrun. But it's not just Andrew. The renewed focus has also pulled Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, back into the storm. For years, her role was mostly defined by one notorious event: accepting £15,000 from Epstein to help pay off her debts, an act she later called a gigantic error of judgment. However, emails reported in the press years ago suggested a relationship that was warmer and more complicated than a one-off transaction. Reports on emails from 2011 showed her allegedly apologizing to Epstein after she publicly distanced herself, calling him a steadfast, generous, and supreme friend. Her spokesperson later claimed this apology was made only after a menacing phone call from Epstein, in which he threatened to destroy her. This constant feed of information, the witness statements against Andrew, the fawning emails from Fergie, the sheer volume of their presence in Epstein's world, has created a perfect storm. It's not one single bombshell, but a relentless barrage of old and new information that keeps the story on the front pages and prevents the royal family from ever closing this dark chapter. It is this renewed intensity and the sheer depth of the connections being revealed that has led some observers to a chilling new conclusion. To understand the crisis today, you have to go back to the beginning. The relationship between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a fleeting acquaintance. It was a long-standing friendship that gave the disgraced financier his ultimate prize, a direct line to royalty. While Andrew has claimed they met in 1999, royal biographer Andrew Loney alleges the connection may have started much earlier, in the 1990s. From the start, it seems Epstein saw Andrew as what one associate called his Super Bowl trophy, a symbol of ultimate access and legitimacy. And Andrew, for his part, appeared to enjoy the billionaire's lavish lifestyle. Publicly available flight logs confirmed the prince flew on Epstein's private jets on multiple occasions. This flies in the face of the image Andrew tried to paint in his disastrous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, where he downplayed their contact and claimed he only stayed at Epstein's homes because it was convenient. The friendship infamously continued even after Epstein's first conviction in 2008 for procuring a child for prostitution. Instead of cutting ties, Andrew was photographed with Epstein in New York's Central Park in December 2010. The prince later claimed this meeting was to honorably end the friendship, but the visit included a multi-day stay at Epstein's mansion and only cemented the public's view of Andrew's profound lack of judgment. The centerpiece of the case against him, however, remains the allegations made by Virginia Giuffre. She has consistently stated that she was trafficked by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and forced into sexual encounters with Prince Andrew 3 times when she was 17, in London, New York, and on Epstein's private island. These allegations are supported by what is perhaps the most damaging piece of physical evidence in the entire scandal: a photograph showing a smiling Andrew with his arm firmly around a teenage Giuffre's waist as Ghislaine Maxwell grins in the background. In his Newsnight interview, Andrew tried to discredit the photo and denied ever meeting Giuffre, offering a series of bizarre and now infamous alibis. He claimed he was at a Pizza Express in Woking on the night of one alleged encounter, and that a medical condition meant he couldn't sweat. These denials were widely ridiculed and did nothing to quiet the firestorm. The pressure came to a head when Giuffre filed a civil lawsuit against him in the U.S. in 2021. Andrew's legal team tried to get the case dismissed, arguing a previous 2009 settlement between Giuffre and Epstein protected him from legal action. When that failed in January 2022, the prince was staring down the barrel of a full, public trial. Just 1 month later, in February 2022, he settled the case out of court. The settlement, reportedly worth as much as £12 million, included a substantial payment to Giuffre and a significant donation to her charity. Crucially, there was no admission of guilt, but the settlement did include a statement where Andrew praised Giuffre's bravery and regretted his association with Epstein. For the public, however, paying millions to avoid a trial spoke volumes. While Prince Andrew's fall from grace has been the main event, the Epstein scandal has also cast a long and destructive shadow over his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. Though they divorced in 1996, the couple has remained unusually close, living together for years at Royal Lodge in Windsor. Their shared connection to Jeffrey Epstein is just one more bizarre chapter in their intertwined lives. For a long time, Fergie's involvement was seen through the lens of a single desperate act. In 2011, she gave a tearful interview admitting she had accepted £15,000 from Jeffrey Epstein to help pay off a debt. She called it a gigantic error of judgment, expressed deep regret, and promised to repay the money. For years, this narrative, of a financially struggling duchess making a foolish mistake, defined her role in the saga. However, older emails and documents that have been re-examined in recent years suggest a much more complex and troubling story. Leaked emails from April 2011, just a month after she publicly disowned Epstein, reportedly show her writing to him in incredibly warm terms. She allegedly wrote, "I know you feel hellaciously let down by me, and I must humbly apologize to you," before calling him a steadfast, generous, and supreme friend. Her spokesperson tried to reframe this, claiming the email was sent only after Epstein made a chilling phone call threatening to sue her and ruin her. According to this account, the fawning email was an attempt to placate a dangerous man. But the damage was done. The idea that she was in contact with him after publicly vowing to cut all ties raised serious questions. Further unsubstantiated allegations have also surfaced that Ferguson may have visited Epstein with her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, though a representative for the Duchess has said they have no memory of such a visit. Whether these emails were born of genuine affection or fear, they paint a picture of a woman deeply enmeshed in Epstein's world, far beyond a single, ill-advised loan. The correspondence suggests a level of familiarity and obligation that has been difficult to explain. It shows that, like her ex-husband, Sarah Ferguson's connection to Jeffrey Epstein was not so easily severed. This enduring entanglement, and the secrets it might still hold, is central to understanding the new fears now circling the Duke and Duchess of York. Now, this is where the story enters some dark and speculative territory. With every old connection re-examined, a more sinister theory has begun to take shape. It's a narrative pushed by some commentators and royal biographers who argue that Andrew and Fergie's problem is no longer just about reputation, but about personal safety. This is the target theory. It's important to state clearly, this is a speculative claim, not a proven fact confirmed by law enforcement. However, the reasoning behind it is built on what we know about Epstein's world. The core of the theory is that Andrew and Fergie simply know too much. Royal biographer Andrew Loney has put forward the idea that Epstein used Prince Andrew as a useful idiot to gain access to world leaders and business opportunities. Loney has also raised the possibility of wider national security questions, suggesting Epstein may have traded information with foreign intelligence services. In that context, Prince Andrew, a former UK trade envoy with access to sensitive information, could have been an incredibly valuable asset and potentially a liability. The fear is that the secrets Andrew might hold are so explosive that there may be powerful people who want them to stay buried forever. This narrative is fueled by the cloud of conspiracy that hangs over the Epstein case, especially his own death in a Manhattan jail cell in 2019, which was officially ruled a suicide but continues to generate theories about foul play. Proponents of the target theory suggest a pattern of silencing potential witnesses. They argue that as more information comes to light, individuals seen as weak links, those who might be tempted to cooperate with authorities, could be viewed as a threat. This is where Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson could fit into this grim puzzle. They are seen by some as potentially vulnerable. Their public images are in tatters, their finances are under scrutiny, and their royal connections are strained. The speculation is that if faced with serious legal jeopardy, one or both of them might be tempted to flip, offering testimony against more powerful figures in Epstein's network in exchange for leniency. This theory, while unproven, helps explain the escalating sense of dread around the couple. It reframes them from disgraced royals to potential pawns in a dangerous, high-stakes game. It suggests the consequences of their friendship with Jeffrey Epstein could go far beyond losing titles and public standing and enter a realm of genuine physical risk. It's a terrifying thought, but one that stems directly from the depraved and clandestine world they chose to inhabit. Whether or not the target theory holds any water, the tangible consequences for Prince Andrew, Sarah Ferguson, and the monarchy have been devastating. The fallout has been a slow-motion demolition of Prince Andrew's royal life. In January 2022, ahead of his civil trial, his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, took the unprecedented step of stripping him of his military affiliations and royal patronages. He was also forced to stop using his Royal Highness title in any official capacity. It was a brutal and public excommunication. After the Queen's death, King Charles III continued to distance the monarchy from his disgraced brother. The king has reportedly exerted immense pressure on Andrew to vacate Royal Lodge, his 30-room mansion in Windsor Great Park, though the terms of Andrew's lease have been a point of contention. The direction is clear. The king wants him out of the royal spotlight. The reputational damage is total and likely permanent. Andrew has become a pariah, his name forever linked with one of the most sordid sex trafficking operations in modern history. For the monarchy, the scandal has been deeply damaging, exposing the institution to accusations of protecting its own and failing to meet basic standards of moral conduct. For Sarah Ferguson, the fallout has been a painful echo of her ex-husband's disgrace. After decades of slowly rebuilding her public image, the reemergence of her ties to Epstein has undone much of that progress. The scandal has also reportedly caused a deep fracture within her own family, with claims that her daughter Princess Eugenie is pretty appalled by the allegations against her father. Together, Andrew and Fergie are trapped in a nightmare of their own making. Their long, ill-advised association with a predator has not only destroyed their own lives, but has also inflicted deep and lasting damage on the institution of the monarchy itself. They are living proof that royal status is no longer a shield against accountability. In the court of public opinion, the verdict has long been in, and the sentence is a lifetime of shame and suspicion.